Hello everyone, and welcome to another Skype session. Now, today is going to be rather different because in today's episode on the podcast, Matt completely skipped over the song of the week. And so the title of the episode kind of makes no sense. Cup of Brown Joy. Now, if you recall, what happens in this episode is we find out that the patient has gone on a lovely walk in countryside that he really liked. He read a good book because he really wanted to read it rather than simply because it was fashionable. And he enjoyed himself a lovely cup of tea. And that's the reason why this episode was called Cup of Brown Joy. Because the patient experienced a real, simple pleasure. And that was exactly the last thing that Screwtape ever wanted him to experience. Because it connects him with goodness and with authenticity and the real world. Whereas Screwtape wants the patient to spend all of his time chasing after the things that society tells him, to read the right books, not necessarily just good books or ones that he enjoys. And Screwtape even says that he's known some patients who have been kept safe from his advances simply because they loved tripe. Just because they liked a particular food and they didn't care who else knew it. And this is particularly personal for me because I love tea. Since I moved to the United States, I have become a little bit of a caricature of an English person, but I have always loved tea. So I'm going to share a cup with you now. I'm drinking using my wife's lovely Jane Austen mug, full of lovely quotations. This is a little teapot that I've had with me since, I think, university. I think I got this in my very first year. Look at that lovely colour. That's what good tea should look like, no weaker. It's often said that you should be able to stand up a spoon in a tea because it's that strong. But connected in with this idea of simple pleasures, I wanted to share a book that I've referenced a few times on the podcast. It's called Every Moment Holy, and it's a series of prayers and blessings for the everyday, to hallow them and to stop and take a moment to recognize that grace is present. For example, they have one prayer. It's called Lament Upon Finishing a Beloved Book. And you might recognize the person in the picture. But I want to share with you another prayer. And this one I pray quite often because I love tea, but I will occasionally have coffee. But this ritual for morning coffee, as it's called, works perfectly well with tea. So I just wanted to read it and share a cup of tea with you all. Meet me, O Christ, in the stillness of morning. Move me, O Spirit, to quiet my heart. Mend me, O Father, from yesterday's harms. From the discords of yesterday, resurrect my peace. From the discouragements of yesterday, resurrect my hope. From the weariness of yesterday, resurrect my strength. From the doubts of yesterday, resurrect my faith. From the wounds of yesterday, resurrect my love. Let me enter this new day, aware of my need and awake. To your grace, O Lord. Amen. I could think of worse ways to begin your day, or worse ways to prepare yourself to consume a cup of coffee, or in this case, tea. And we don't normally do homework on these Skype sessions, but I would just encourage everyone watching this to think about your pleasures in life, particularly the simple pleasures, such as enjoying a nice cup of tea or coffee, maybe a scotch in the evening, maybe going for a walk at lunchtime, or sitting out on your porch in early evening. And maybe pen your own prayer to call God into that moment and to thank Him for the wonderful pleasures with which He furnishes us in life. Taste and see that the Lord is good.